Everyone loves a good copy, the more shameless the better. And sometimes the most interesting ones are those that really try to resemble the success of what they're imitating in any means possible. This leads me to Garfield. You've heard of him, right? While I could talk about its similarities with Orange Cat Heathcliff,
that right there is a gremlin.
This video is actually about this weird Argentinian copy. Gaturro is an Argentinian character created by Cristian Gustavo Duzuanik, better known as Nick. He would originally be used in political comics, delivering a punchline while being completely disconnected from the rest of the comic, a tradition Nick still does to this day. He was also used as President Menem's heir, but we don't talk about that, presidential caricatures are weird. Eventually, Gaturro became his own separate thing, starring in comic strips as a clearly Garfield-inspired lazy troublemaking cat. Now, I'm not calling Gaturro a copy for nothing, as the creator was accused multiple times of stealing jokes and even art. Now, obviously, just because one joke is similar doesn't mean Nick is copying. Same with 2 jokes, and 3 jokes, and 10 jokes. But when he reached the hundreds, people really started to suspect of him. What's worse is that he has even reposted other people's art, with their credit conveniently missing. I don't even know who he was trying to fool, everyone can tell it's not his art style. This one isn't even art, he just claims someone else's cat as his own. Because of this, every cartoonist in the country hates him, along with everyone else. He was even mocked on TV, like no one respects him. It's sad, but also kind of funny.
Yo había traído material mío de dibujante y había traído algunas ideas nuevas que se me ocurrieron. Gatincho.
Gatincho. Está poderoso.
Para, porque no saben. No hacen imitación.
There's also this beautiful thing called pijurro. It's Gaturro, but as a penis. It's you know. Now I actually have a couple of Gaturro comics, so let's talk about that for a second. This is such a funny comic. Oh, I love it how... Something you definitely notice is that Gaturro's design is pretty... ass! Like, I don't know why Nick decided to exaggerate his cheeks of all things. It's kind of like how everyone in Garfield has eyes the size of elephants, but paired up with big booty yak faces. And what's worse is that populating this sea of comic strips are even more cats with giant ass faces. Like this is what half of the cast looks like. Okay guys, top 10 Gaturro characters, let's go. Number 10, Caticito. Number 9, Gatulongo. Number 7, Elizabeth. Number 3, Areñita, it's inspired, fuck off. Number 3, Milfurro.
I want milk.
Number 2, number 1, what the fuck is it? Number 1, Gaturro Messi. Another thing you might notice while skimming through this is the abundance of pop culture parodies, even the other ones. You got Gaturro Matrix, Gaturro Spider-Man, Gaturro Shrek, Gaturro Minions. Why the fuck Minions, man? Gaturro Messi. I find it funny that he still uses both a political character and a child-friendly mascot. Like on one comic he's next to a president, and in the next one he's dressed as a fucking Among Us crewmate. Like, why? Now there's been plenty of Gaturro comic strips, books, but that didn't stop Nick, as he wanted to do more with his creation and take it to the next level. And he did. Mundo Gaturro is a massive MMO online experience for kids. Moving on. Yeah, what do you want to say? It's a virtual world where every character is a front-facing Gaturro. I mean, if this doesn't inspire child-friendly experience, then I don't know what will.
Join us.
Holy fuck, is that Jotaro? Nick, I see you brought your Gaturro stand. Yeah. My first memory with Mundo Gaturro was seeing my cousin play it and then show me an episode of Happy Tree Friends. Gaturro the movie, yeah right, like Yankees would know who the fuck Gaturro is. Let's change the name to Crazy Cat. Crazy Cat is about a crazy cat going on crazy cat adventures. He tries to go out with his other crazy guy who rejects him for a crazy cat that's rich. So Crazy Cat becomes a movie actor after crazy hijinks. Then he has to stop the crazy cat wedding between the two crazy cats. But the evil Crazy Cat pulls out a crazy road from Crazy Cat's movie premiere. After a crazy sequence, they After a crazy sequence, they defeat the evil crazy cat ends up with crazy cat. Yeah. You know, this is why you don't adapt your ass cheek cat into 3D, Nick. Because it looks like shit. Hey, I can't be too hard on it. It was the first CGI animated Argentinian movie. And it shows. Here's a compilation of my favorite moments.
Only a lucky strike can save me.
I told you we need him by the end of the day.
Flashing in the hood, yo.
Time to choose. Max or me?
Max? To me.
The show came out 1 year later and looks leagues wetter, but I mean, that's still not saying much of, you know. The series, as you may expect, takes place in Nick's office, clearly the most fun location. Yeah, I don't have much to say about this, apart from the fact Gaturro sees his mom having sex. Yeah. Yeah. Also, Gaturro's voice actor later worked on a fucking has-been hotel fandom of all things, voicing Angel Dust.
Tonterías. Solo está molesto porque olvidé darle propina. Ay, eso quisiera. Me estoy quedando en un hotel de mierda del otro lado de la ciudad.
BC Pop, please hire this man. It would be so funny. I'm not gonna watch the show, but someone else will. Please, I swear. With that being said, let's move on to the best part. The statue. Oh yeah, we're going there. So, for context, here in Argentina we have statues erected in honor of our most popular comic characters, which means that, to the dismay of everyone, there's a Gaturro statue. Or, more accurately, there was a Gaturro statue. Ooh. In March of 2013, this beautiful symbol of plagiarism and bad jokes was added into this godforsaken world. And since then, people vandalize it. I mean, you know, it's Latin America, what did you expect? Every wall has some dude's graffitied Instagram handle. But this specific statue was vandalized more than all the other ones. Because, like I said, no one respects the character. Did I say that? No one respects the character, basically. I just want you guys to take a second and look at this. Like, his arm is missing. Now, I don't know if it came off an accident or someone stole it or whatever reason. I need to know where it is. Please, I need to know. I need to know. Also, yes, that's an Among Us. Thank you for noticing it. The statue was in such a bad state that they had to remove it. But it wasn't going to end there, because Nick said that a new one was gonna be installed, like a bud-shaped phoenix rising from his ashes. Now, he was hyping it up for months, constantly talking about it and saying that it was gonna include anti-vandalism technology. Whatever that means. And eventually, earlier this year, it was placed, right where the old one stood. But what Nick didn't realize is that by hyping it up so much, by talking about it every day, he cultivated a community of people that didn't want to casually vandalize it, they wanted to destroy it. Remember how the old statue was up for around a decade? The new one was up for 2 days. After 2 days of total sculpture destruction, the new Gaturro statue had to be taken down. I don't even need to say anything about this. You can see the state it was in. Also, remember the anti-vandalism technology I mentioned earlier? Yeah, it was a yellow wooden fence. One that no one vandalized to add insult to injury. The next day they put up a new statue in a completely different place, but it got taken down after 1 day. Probably because they thought someone would try to rig it with explosives or something. And replace it with a statue of Sonic of all things. And that's really where the story ends. Gaturro is a really interesting character, not for the content he appears in, but for the reputation his creator has gotten. A reputation he can't escape and will follow him with anything he does. Whether that be political art, appearances in media, and anything people can draw a dick on, Nick and his creation are about a punchline down here in Argentina. But, to a certain level, I kinda have to give it to him. The fact he manages to be so hated yet still cranks out Gaturro books and merch to this day, making more money than most of us probably will, he clearly knows what he's doing. I was actually able to meet him at a book fair this year, and I wouldn't trade the excitement I felt for the hour and a half I spent in line for the world. Because while I did rag on him a lot in this video, Gaturro was the first comic I read. It was what inspired me to draw, to do art. I guess what I'm trying to get at is... Nick, you made me a furry, how dare you?